Okay, so I wanted to give you a bit of a tour of the Freshwind Minecraft server, and to do that I'm going to take you down the long road. So I wanted a server originally that'd be safe for the kids so that they would be safe from the internet. And so I'll just explain some of the server. So it's private. We ran it out of the basement on a Windows box. Then we ran out of disk space and had hard drives crash and all the Windows stuff that goes with that. I realized I wanted to use hosting. So had some bad hosts and then found a good host at Redstone Hosting. And so been working on maintaining this server for the kids. It's been a good thing. Moving models from version to version to Minecraft server has resulted in north pointing south and south pointing west and things like that. But this video hopefully will preserve the history of this Minecraft server, since we're going to try and move everything, all the models anyways, to a new Tekkit or Feed the Bridge. So here we get to one of the first models that we built. This monument, the Hanging Gardens monument, is just huge in scale and sort of showcases what can be done with World Edit. In this video you'll see some models that were built with World Edit. Maybe it's quite obvious for this one, very square in shape. You'll see some models that were built in creative mode, and you'll see some models that were completely legitimate, where all the materials were mined, were harvested, and where the building was all done by hand, so to speak. So in this was a World Edit experiment, and we wanted the Hanging Gardens to be sort of like a park monument, just on a massive scale, and there's the gardens there. So that was kind of fun, and for World Edit I really see it like an accelerator. If you wanted to build something, rather than harvesting every block of wood and every iron and smelting, like, it would take months. So I really see World Edit as a great tool for building an environment or infrastructure, those sorts of things, for a server where you have people playing. And I don't exactly view it as cheating. I think it has its place. It's really good for putting out fires when the world's on fire. So here you can see sort of this glass observation deck where you can look down on the clouds. This is sort of this epic place to be, which is kind of neat. So yeah, some of these buildings were built long before creative mode ever existed. The inside of this is tubular, and you can see we offset, or I offset, the hallway so as to create extra space for what was going to be a secret lab. But the timing of the door is a little more challenging than I'd like to admit. So, since we're moving all these models, oh, a skeleton got in, to another server, we'll just go ahead and at this point just knock out the door, because I've exported these models using MC Edit. I've exported them, World Edit to copy and then export so that MC Edit can manipulate them. And when we get a new server, we'll be putting these models back in the world. This is the emergency exit, gravity powered. You just press the button and it looks after getting you out of the building in a hurry. So, strange building to be sure. So there's some water you fell into, so in survival mode you don't die, and then this leads to an exit through an existing cave system. We'll just speed up a bit so you don't have to watch it all. One of my values in building lots of things like that exit is to try and blend in with the natural environment. I think Minecraft does a fantastic job of creating a natural looking environment. So apart from things like this monolithic monument, I really like it when things can blend in. Certainly has its place. On the left here is a piano. So it uses note blocks and it uses these pressure plates, and so you can run along the pressure plates and play the piano. Of course, you can imagine how cumbersome it is to play anything remotely musical, but you can see, we'll just take you inside here so you can see the note blocks and the redstone wiring that's carrying those signals without shorting out. So it's kind of fun to make that piano. There we go. So we'll try and show you all of the objects are all the notable models on this world, since when we import them, they will have different spacing, different locations. This is KJ's club, or Fire Guys club, and the lily pads were sort of the newest thing at the moment when we put that together. So nice area up here. We like the look of the obsidian. It appears somebody's moved some glass on us using World Edit. And then fireplace down here. Beds, good location for creepers to get in. Libraries down here, but no upgrade table or enchanting table, and a barbecue place there. So kind of a fun little club, and of course a place to go fishing out here, or to dock your boats against the wall. So that's the club. It's kind of fun. Now this is the cathedral. Everything that's glowstone was just a big, massive, huge World Edit dropped in as a block. Sadly, some of the disk problems we had caused us to lose about 8 builds in this area, just builds of this scale. So this is one that we rebuilt because we liked it. And the idea in the design was to force the eyes upward, so that you'd just be looking up and up, and then we used very simple cross shapes just to give the idea of a cathedral. So it's kind of bare bones when you look at it, but it's also on a grandiose scale, and it's kind of fun. Testimony to World Edit for sure. Yeah, we had rockets and all sorts of things before we had to reset the map back. This is the pharmacy. So you can see the pharmacy, the idea was it was part of the village, and it would showcase the brewing stands and some of that as if it was an old-fashioned apothecary. And so, yeah, it's fun. It was a neat little place. A lot of the buildings that you see, they're missing doors, and there's holes in the walls and things like that. A lot of that is simply the cost of giving a bunch of people creative and having them accidentally punch holes and everything. So we did have the world locked down a little more in the past, but then we had enough bugs with upgrades and whatnot that it would have taken more time than I had. This is the jail, a lot of villagers in there, bad villagers, and the idea being that it's a great place to go and trade with the villagers. So that works pretty good. On the left is Fire Guys Water Park, and so this was also one of the builds that was rebuilt. And so the idea was there were water slides that people could go on, and at one point in time, quite elaborate underground water slides that we were not able to recreate, but just some short ones here. So the roads are considered infrastructure, and I'll put those in for anybody who builds on our map. So the glowstone keeps the snow melted off of them and allows for a little bit of lighting and fewer mobs at night. And the roads, of course, help people to get around a little easier when people are playing legit and survival and not just existing in creative. So yeah, creative has its place, but I'm a survival fan myself. I really think survival's the way to go, because that's in my view, that's the way the game's meant to be played. So this is Fire Guys Arena here, and it used to have a bunch of pillars inside, and the idea was you could go in here with a bow and jump from pillar to pillar while all the mobs were on the bottom. And then, of course, if you wanted, you could exit through the lava, which is never a good idea. But the castle on the left, this is one of the oldest buildings on this world, apart from things that got imported, which I'll show you later. But the castle is really quite fun. And so the idea was we wanted this grand gate, secret little button there to push to get over. Oh, the lag's going to get me. Okay. Yeah. The timing could be improved on this, as you can obviously tell. Let's try again. No, can't do that. Okay, we'll get through there. So this was really built before I understood how Minecraft worked. So I had the idea that up above you'd have, the archers waiting to defend the castle. But yeah, who wants to sit around in a castle waiting for someone to invade, right? You're going to be off doing something or attacking them yourself. There's no waiting around as archers, right? So yeah, just built on a scale that's maybe a little bigger than the user base. But this was the second level where you could look down on the gate and see who was coming in and going out, and then up to the top onto the ramparts where the view's good. I absolutely hate the rain. Hate it, hate it. Fortunately, I have a computer that does not lag with rain now, but in the past I had a computer that when it would start to rain, basically it would take you 30 seconds to just get it to stop raining, even using the commands, just because everything was so laggy. So, good view from up here. This is one of my favorite spawn points up here. But it's just kind of a fun castle to run around on and climb around in. There's lots of ladders and passages and a couple secrets. So there's one of the towers that really has been unoccupied. And then ladder down the outside, which may not seem obvious at first. That was a little faster than I planned. Right into the pig pen. The pigs seem to have all escaped. I'm going to blame not playing in survival again. So there's lots of climbing about on this to keep it fun. And a glass ceiling so no mobs would spawn up there. But also the light would go right through, so we didn't have to light the entire place. Of course at night we do. There we are back at the front gate, and lots of ladders for climbing around. I really love the way that the steps work on corners, the way that they turn into benches and curves. So I really like the upside down steps as a good addition to make the buildings look a little bit better. Let's go down a little bit here. And here you can see the original sod houses that we started off with. It was a scary night. It was dark. We were running around. Creepers were exploding, and we were trying to dig ourselves into the ground so they couldn't get us. There's a pig stuck up there. So this is one of the towers looking out towards the skeleton spawner in the water park, the front gate. And we'll just go back down. So these hobbit houses, these sod holes, this one is an upgrade table or an enchantment room. I'm not a big fan of enchantment. I mean, you're upgrading weapons and things. I don't know if it has to be magical. Okay, so that door's going to give us a headache. Let's try that again. There we go. And then this was a storeroom. Behind us was the Hobbit Hole Hotel. But you can see there was like 4 of us sharing like 4 boxes. We didn't have very much at the beginning. And off to the right, there's a cookhouse and another portal in the basement. This was one of the exits that we used to good effect. And there's those nice curves with the stairs again. So, liberal spelling on this server. Excuse me. So, Fire Guy and Fresh Wind have their houses down here. And looks like the Enderman griefing hasn't been completely stopped. That's too bad. But, yeah, Fresh Wind is one of our players as well as the name of the server, and has a little bit more work to do in her room. Nice fountain. And this is Fire Guys. It's gone for the gold and diamond brick look. Don't fall in the lava. So this is his space, and he created a very quick escape hatch into X-Flame's space. So this is X-Flame's room downstairs, across from Jimacone's. And the idea was this is all hidden behind that piston, but it looks like something's been eating blocks or something. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Not quite sure why they would be broken so specifically, because this area was done as far as I knew. Maybe somebody robbed him. Maybe we had a griefer. We did actually have a griefer for a little while, but we took away his access and he stopped griefing after that. Funny how that works. But I love that library that X-Flame has with the lily pads and that. So this is my room. It's supposed to look just sort of sparse. And then there was a switch behind the vines that would move some stones and open up a passage. But of course, those don't look like stones. It looks like it's been replaced with wood. Probably somebody punched through. And there's my library and some storage there. Okay. We'll go upstairs and show you the other two rooms in here. So this is Timmy Timbit's room, and he's got some brewing stands and things happening there. So that's kind of fun. And then probably the best of these rooms is Fifi's room here. It's gone for a gold diamond ore look, and of course the lava fireplace that everybody must have. So zone library in here. And then the underground hot tub, which is just fantastic, with lily pads. Now this hot tub also has a secret exit, so you gotta love that. Secret exits in castles, they just go hand in hand. So it's pretty good. So there's a fair number of secrets in this castle, which is kind of fun. You'll notice the pink wool in my hand, and you'll notice blocks of pink wool here and there and everywhere. I'm using the pink wool as markers when I'm exporting the buildings into MC edit format. And so either I've patched some hole or I've just exported using those as the corners of the polygons. So then we'll be able to import these. So just pretend all of the pink things aren't there. Now we attach this onto the mine here. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me go downstairs. You've probably seen that before. There we go. And so some of us actually did mining, and quite a bit of mining down here, which was good. But unfortunately, like the dwarves in Moria, we dug too deep and we awoke something. No, that's not true. We tried to make an area that was like Moria down at the bottom, and so I'll show that to you. Now it's kind of cool. A little bit of world edit down there. But this up here, this is legitimate mining. There we go. And a bit more. More mining. Okay. Off to Moria. So we were going for sort of that pillars going up into the darkness, just like in the movie. And that's good. Because we're in cheater pants mode. Nothing's attacking us. And lava. There we go. So grand sort of staircase up here, and the idea of ancient tunnels and ruins and mines, and it was kind of fun just to put this together. It sort of felt a little bit like Lord of the Rings, which was cool. Yeah, so normally I play in survival. I think it's the only way to go. You know, for expediency's sake, and so I can fly and show you a lot of things in a brief amount of time. I am in God mode here, or in creative mode. Sorry. Yeah. If this is God mode, your God's too small. Totally. So I'll just take an alternate exit here. Go. Excellent. Okay, so SkyTrain station, or the monorail, we built these stations, and we used a little depression with the track to have powered rail and a switch and get the carts going. So stations have cart dispensers. You can grab a cart from them, pop it on the side opposite to the direction you want to go, press the button, and off you go. So that's kind of fun. Works pretty good. So we'll just hop in the cart, press the button, see the squid looking at us suspiciously, and here we go. So there's the squid that Fire Guy made, and his aquarium off to the right where you can see many, many squids. A very boring stacked apartment block there done in World Edit, and you can get a peek here at Fifi's fountain house. Don't think he had fire insurance, and I think that's why it looked like that. And then on the left is Spleef Arena that we put together. And actually, this is quite a nice shot. It's the avenue going up to the village. There was a village right next to us. We were elated to find it. So our Spleef Arena, because we don't do PvP on our server, except in arenas, we need designated places for that. And that's good, because we have some pretty young guys on the server, and if they spawned and got killed, they'd probably be quite upset and never come back. But let's have a peek in at Fifi's house here. It's Fountain House. And so Fifi built his own subway to join the village with his house. You won't get to see that, but nice carpets in here. We'll just go up. He has a great view of Pixel Art Park, which is a newer addition. So Pixel Art Park is sort of based on what we were seeing on the Rune community server. Rune community has run wonderful Minecraft servers, and apart from a large outage they had in the last year, they had a lot of awesome pixel art all over the servers, as well as incredible builds and really, really cool ops and events. Some familiar logos there for you: Superman, some Mario stuff, Nyan Cat, of course. Everyone needs a Nyan Cat. And then the Chrome logo. So modified that based on some artwork I found. Google and Chrome have done so much for the internet, I just wanted to pay them my thanks. So there you go. There's the Chrome in the 8 colors available in Minecraft. King Boo and some other, some Olympic rings that look a little flat in the middle, and some other art. So Freshwind did that one. It's nice. And the ever-present creeper, of course, the iconic Minecraft image. I want to show you the skeleton spawner. The skeleton spawner, we used World Edit and MC Edit to get the models in here. So there's some spawners in the bottom, in that gray section. I can see the Endermen have been here. And they spawn skeletons into a number of streams for them, and the streams pull the skeletons away from us. And they end up in front of us here trapped, and the pressure plates would push them forward. So the idea is they come down with only 1 hit point, and when you hit them with a loaf of bread or a feather or an arrow or something, then they die. And you get the XP from that because you killed them. If they just fell down and died, you wouldn't get any XP, of course. So if you're choosing arrows or using arrows to shoot at them, you're also collecting arrows. So these are elevators. There's like a block of air, a block of water, a block of air, a block of water, and they go up the back, and then they fall down here. And so that's sort of the process by which the skeleton XP farm works. So yeah, I really appreciated finding this design on YouTube and being able to implement it. So the Space Needle is pretty cool. Having been on the Space Needle recently, we were able to implement a 2-sided Space Needle rather than a 3-sided Space Needle. If you're familiar with the tower, you'll see it right away. But in a block world, that's pretty good actually. So it's very tall. So we based it partly on a Lego model and partly on pictures. And you can see the walkway outside. And in a second we'll go into the, that big long diving plank isn't part of the real Space Needle. That can come off. So the observation level with the windows and counters you can lean on and look out. The real Space Needle is definitely worth visiting. It's really quite neat. Definitely a touristy thing, but as a tourist in Seattle, loved it. So down below you have the restaurant, just like you would in the Space Needle, lots of seating. And then, of course, the center is all about elevators and getting up and down. So in this case, we used water-based elevators. So there's down, and then you can brake using the water if you want. To get up, we had a system where you could push a boat into the stream. And by pushing a boat into the stream, those blocks would propel the boat up very rapidly. We never got the kinks worked out of it, but it was pretty exciting when it worked. Yeah. So we'll just come out the bottom here, and that's how we keep the water up. And that's the Space Needle. So this village that we so luckily found close by, we walled it in and we lit it. And so lots of lighting and walls meant that the villagers didn't get turned into zombies, which was quite good. And so this is a sugarcane harvester, and so it's going to allow all of the sugarcane that successfully make it into the channels. It's going to allow those to all be harvested at one point, so that's pretty good. So the one point's just down here, and there you go. Work made easy. No idea why there's no block in there. And just up here is the very first automated wheat harvester that I made. So there's a couple blocks of wheat field and pistons and water behind that. And so this is the hard way. You're knocking each individual crop off. But this is a much easier alternative. So I should mention the Space Needle was World Edit and Creative Mode and lots of flying. Putting the walls up here was Creative Mode. Probably some World Edit. This is legitimate though. The wheat harvester, the dirt, all of the things that it's made out of, that's legitimate. Done the hard way. Okay. There you go. So I just picked up a ton of stuff, several stacks if you notice. So it's pretty good. Okay. And using, this is a mine entrance, happened to find out the whole village is built over a cave system. So there's lots of things that come out to keep the miners, or to keep the villagers excited. It's one of the reasons we've had problems keeping the population up in this village. So we helped them out with some gardening and some farming. And this is the rail track that we use to kidnap the villagers and take them off to our golem spawner and whatnot. Just running trains continually till it bumps a villager and then you got them. So that was pretty good. We did some row housing, and so we did that to try and boost the population again. So again, World Edit and just copying and pasting, and it's pretty effective. So really in this case, World Edit is a multiplier for effort rather than a big huge cheaty thing. Okay, there's a little archery range down there, and we'll show you this pub and inn. X-Flame built this pub and inn, so it's nice. Nice addition to the village. There was this big blank spot in the village and he fixed it. So some tables, there's a bar, some cooking equipment back there. And upstairs, if you have people staying, there's rooms they can stay in, sleep in. Yeah, nice cozy little rooms. And then of course, every inn has a scary attic, so there's an attic up above. So, full of cobwebs, of course, which I'm stuck in. There we go. That's interesting. And we'll just jump out here. So that was a nice little inn and a great addition to the town. So all around the town, the gates are iron, and they're controlled with pressure pads from the inside or buttons from the outside. The idea is to make it difficult for creepy crawlies to follow you into the village. So that's, well, it's actually difficult for anybody to get into the village, by all appearances. Though I hear this is getting old. Let's try that again. There, I made it. I've escaped. Yeah, so good at keeping people out. And one more interesting thing is we built a tower on the wall here, and the tower was sort of like a guard tower. And of course, it's Minecraft. People don't stand around shooting arrows from the wall, right? You just jump off the wall with your sword and take them all out. So as often as not, the doors are open and it's full of mobs. But we built walkways around all the walls so that we could see out, mostly because we're insanely curious and want to know what's going on the other side of the wall. I know, we could have done windows. What were we thinking? So it was a lot of effort to wall it in and light it, but the village is really, it's really a mainstay of play on the server. People are always in the village. So let's just speed up a little bit and we'll go over to where Josh has his mountain house. So Josh's mountain house is up here. And just pop in there, can see where he is. Nice cozy little place. Okay, we won't feed the golem, I promise. And his mine entrance. Apparently Josh has not been attacked by zombies who are beating the door down, because that's a wooden door. Yeah, and a lot of what we built on this server is prior to a lot of these updates. I remember not even knowing that shift would keep me from falling off cliffs, and just painstaking construction until I learned that. So this is Fire Guy's mountain house, similar to Josh's. Golems, music box, and we'll speed out of here. Okay. So we're going to look at Anansi's first farm, and I think Purple Octopus built some things in here too. In real life, Anansi loves feeding people, making sure that people have enough to eat. And so in the game, it's no surprise that farming is really, really important to him. He's a great guy and really cares about people. So it's good to have him on the server too. So some sheep there, we're gonna have some wool. We're gonna see some interesting things made out of wool, I'm sure. So Anansi decided he was gonna take this hill and turn this hill into a base. And so he did. And hollowed it out and lit it so the mobs wouldn't spawn in there, and did a great job. And so this is his first build. And he happened to pick a hill that had a lake of lava inside. Whoa, deja vu. A little bit of lag. Server's on the other side of the planet, so that's understandable sometimes. Yeah, so a lake of lava right there. So good choice, buddy. And then you can see he's obviously upgrading, and he's got a good little base going here. Oh, there we go. Here's the way out. Yeah, so lots of food there. I'll take you to the spawn. We try and start people off here, and we try and show them the rules right away so they have a chance to know what's acceptable on the server. So we don't allow griefing or stealing, bad language, no PvP unless it's in an arena by mutual consent. Some people are too helpful, so we encourage them not to modify other people's buildings or artwork, and not everyone can be op. Because we have some real young kids on, we don't want fatal traps that don't have warnings. And just common sense, you know, keeping TNT and fire away from others' buildings. Asking for some patience on upgrades. Those take a lot. And yeah, fly mod's great. You can fly if you want. Get zombies mod on there. TNT belongs in the TNT zone, and then we use bedrock to lead people to the TNT zone so everyone knows where that is. And that's worked pretty good. When things blow up in the TNT zone, then we just refresh it with world edit. Oh, creeper's coming in. So this is Sophie's house. Nice wallpaper, Sophie. You can stay out. It was a little tricky as Sophie was pretty new to Minecraft and she was building this and she almost fell in here. So it's a very dangerous backyard on her house. But yeah, it's a nice one. This is a wooden ship. This is legitimate. Oh, by the way, I should mention Anansi's farm is 100% legitimate. So all the wool, all the wood, everything here is legitimate. Everything was harvested or sheared off a sheep. Here's a zombie on the sail. That's all there is. And then a hatch down here. Tried to make it as realistic as I could for the size of the ship. So there's the masts coming through. There's some storage there. Yeah, don't use that door. Davy Jones locker. Of course, we know how that works. We've seen all the movies. But water's starting to come in. Just close that because you probably shouldn't leave that open. So that's the wooden ship, and had a lot of fun putting that together. Rudder's a little bit large. Maybe I could have used doors or something. So the monorail, I view that just like the roads, just a part of the infrastructure. And if somebody builds something, we'll get a road to them, we'll get the rail to them eventually. And so that works pretty well. Then you don't have people spending a lot of effort on roads instead of builds. So this iron ship on the left is something Fire Guy put together. Helped him a little bit. We used a little bit of world edit and a whole lot of creative. So it's got some decks with windows and torches, and it's all above water. So that's the big iron block ship. This is the TNT zone. You're seeing it at nighttime, so it has lots of targets, mobs on it. And so it's just a big, huge, flat area that people are welcome to blow stuff up on. And so we've seen some pretty amazing explosions. The monorail runs underneath this, and every now and then the explosions are big enough to take out the monorail, which is kind of fun. The desert sculptures over here, this was the first pyramid that I made with world edit, and then this was made with creative to spawn villagers, and there's a sphinx that was creative, and so was this creeper head, and then the zombie was creative. So yeah, this is the back entrance into the or the back exit, I should say. There's no way to get in right now, into the BlueEyes base, into the pyramid. So we'll go in the other way. So this pyramid was the second pyramid made with world edit, and just on a massive scale. I think it must be 50 blocks or something like that. So that was a lot of fun. Used world edit to sort of do the big parts of that, and then inside tried to do things more legitimately. Here we go. Gotta work on those doors. So the doghouse, if you can make a dog sit, you can push them around. So before we had 6 dogs there, and then when the mobs would come in the front door, the dogs would go get them. This is the output for the slime farm down underneath. So the slime come up the ladder, get washed down here, get stuck, die, and give you the slime, or if you kill them, give you the XP too. And then using MC Edit, we pulled these out of a few locations in the map, so that we could use them for some interesting builds later on. So the spider one has a roof, obviously, and so some spawners there. And this is the train tracks, and there were some ramps here. I was attempting to make an iron golem spawner here, but I used a really old design, and I don't think it works anymore. So I'll just take you to the entrance. This is how it was intended to be viewed. Got some good practice with world edit here. And just sort of an epic entrance, really sort of impressive, symmetrical. I like the color of the walls with the light and the shadows, and the way that all plays together. So that was something I really liked, being able to do that in world edit. Here's the monorail, or SkyTrain. There's now a subway. So that's how we got them upstairs for those straps. That other direction goes to the end. Now some things that are a little more legitimate. So everything you see inside these rooms was made legitimately. There's an incinerator. Here's some storage. There's a minecart loop here, so I can put a minecart on and I can have it run continually. And it does a nice job of basically being the bus. So every 30 seconds or so there's a minecart available. And it just loops and loops and loops and loops down to the mine and back, which is pretty good. So a couple pictures on the wall. Really like the item frames. They make it easy to identify what's in the different containers, and it's good being able to get a good amount of storage on a column. And then I did the farms inside just to do away with dealing with mobs. Actually, that's a skeleton, so maybe not completely doing away with it. Sort of the Google sheep farm, right? All the right colors. And so we've got cows and sheep in there. And yeah, and Nancy's was telling me you can get a lot of XP from that sort of activity, so that's good. So check this out. This is how I harvest my watermelons. Got some redstone in the floor and some pistons, sticky pistons. Lily pads so I don't fall in the water there. And just run along here, pick it all up. And ever since I did this, I don't run out of food. So that's pretty good. And then they grow back pretty quick too. I'll show you the portal entrance into the mob spawner I have here on the end of the building. So the tripwire there will open that up, and then we can go on through. So you can see how it closes. They don't all close at the same time. The wiring was really challenging because the wall is quite thin. So these paths here, we'll maybe turn the lights on a little bit so you can see better maybe. Just move some blocks so let the light from the torches out. There we go. Good. So these paths here spawn mobs, and hopefully they don't spawn on the glass. And then it's multi-level, so just using World Edit to copy down, and you can see the different levels here as we go by, different activities going on. And then at the very bottom, I was using ice to make items convey on the same level. Doesn't work so well. I'm using lava blades to destroy the mobs. Of course, the spiders aren't affected by that unless they jump. But if you notice there, using the ice to keep things on the same level, I'm attempting to push them 128 blocks away, because I understand that if you push it 128 blocks away, those chunks unload, and then you don't have a problem with the items despawning after 5 minutes. So if you're standing here and the mobs are falling down and getting chewed up, all of the items that they drop get pushed 128 blocks away, and then they don't despawn, which is great. So I've got to give Ethos credit for this. This is the instant kit. Right, we're not using this right now, but the idea was you step on the plate and all of these dispensers fire and basically throw good things your way. So if you got killed, you could run in here and have all your armor and weapons and tools and things back. So you can see a little bit of redstone in there, but it's really, you're not going to be able to see the clock from there. So let me just break the floor open here so you can see this. I'm going to try not to break the circuit while I'm here. Okay, so I've got a clock running that basically is blinking the circuit on and off and on and off and on and off. And that clock, combined with an AND gate and a switch, allows these dispensers to shoot pretty rapidly. And so they're full of seed up there for the wheat farm. And so by throwing the switch, which is labeled seeds, the dispensers are firing seed pretty quick. So that'll fill you up in just a couple seconds, and you'll be able to go plant in the wheat farm. So works pretty good. The clock took a long time to get right. Very thankful to YouTube for contributing to my learning. All right, and this is my latest automatic wheat farm. So throwing the switch releases the water, which harvests the wheat, and then it all washes down to one point at the front. You can see the water rushing down and starting to carry everything down. So we'll come back and collect that in a minute. Okay, one side was a little slower this time. That's interesting. Yeah, so pretty effective. And carrots and potatoes here. I love getting the sugarcane on the sugarcane farm here. Just punching through all, oops. And that's why we don't use creative kits. I'll fix those things later rather than making you wait while I fix them. But the water channels everything to the middle and makes it easy to pick up. And so that's pretty good. Okay, so these portal doors here, there you go. We'll get into the nether. Now the nether's the nether, it all looks the same. But one thing I did do is I put railway tracks in the nether so that I could go further. And the idea being that the nether takes you 8 times further than the overland does, so that allows me to get pretty far out. And we were doing that for survival challenge where we throw everybody in the wilderness and just basically start over on Minecraft. So we were doing that for a little while. We were doing that almost every week, which was kind of fun. Do a big co-op game of it, which is fun. So you get the idea. I'll just race back. Speed this up a little bit. So we were doing some work with blazes and harvesting blaze farms, but we never built any machinery out here that was interesting enough to show you. So here we are back again, and put iron doors there because of the upgrade that caused things to come back out of the nether at you. I've been trying a mushroom farm here and haven't been having much success. The idea is that the mushroom should seed the blocks below them to the sides, and then we can use pistons and water to wash the mushrooms down and harvest them, but that hasn't worked. The mushrooms simply haven't grown off to the sides, so you can see how the water would flow in those channels and would push down. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, pop them in the comments. Thank you. So let's go collect that wheat that's been pooling down here. You see we picked up quite a bit. Good. And this is down to the mine. The mine looks like every other mine. So we won't make you look at that. Turn that water off. Avoid the hole. So just up here, this is where we built a enchanting table for upgrades. Sucking all the letters out of the books. And started to build an expansion out in this direction. So this expansion was a legitimate expansion. Really liked the indirect light. So that was fun. This takes us towards the back entrance of the pyramid, which incidentally is right behind the nether portal. And so just the idea that it's impossible to go up or down those stairs until that's open. There you go. And someone built me this lava sculpture, which is nice. And then this was sort of the entrance into the caves where we were now starting to do active caving down there. So we'll get back out of here, move a little faster. I'm going to show you the slime farm. Slimes were one of the last things I discovered, mostly because I didn't understand slime chunks. But yeah, built some pretty good slime farms. Lots of advice from folks like Etho via YouTube. So that's a nice sunset. So we'll just head over here. Entrance is very discreet. There you go. So using 2 blocks of water up there to catch me and slow me down so I don't get injured. So big paths, well lit to keep other mobs from spawning, and then used stairs with water flowing up them to keep everything flowing on one level. So that way I didn't need to use ice. It worked pretty good, and it's a pretty good design. We'll just drop down. This is a 3-level slime farm. 2.5? 3, yes. So you can see, this goes around the corner. The mob grinders themselves are really a genius design. I copied this verbatim from someone who'd done a really good video on these. So basically it's different layers of lava blades that grind up the, and the slimes don't burn, which is great, which grind up the slimes until they're tiny. And then when they're tiny, they fall down. And when they fall down, they will start going up ladders. And by following those ladders, then they come out where you want them to come out. So if we look at the bottom here, you can see the water is washing this way. So the slimes will be pushed this way and then get pushed. There's a hole there. Get pushed this way and towards this ladder here. So this ladder takes us up. The grinders are stacked, so there's 2 grinders here. Just open this up a little bit so you can see from the slime's perspective. They're everywhere. So up we go, and we get pushed forward and around the corner. And then this is the ladder they ascend to get inside the pyramid. I'll just take you up there because it's a nice and easy way out. Pop the top off for us there. So there you go. So that works pretty good. So now I'm going to take you to KJ's castle. It's down in the end of this road. See this bright spot here? There's no light source, but it's bright. There were trees that were on fire, and that's all I can come up with, that the game must think that the trees are still on fire, which I think is hilarious. So there's the dragon on KJ's castle greeting you with its fire-breathing mouth and its emerald eyes. It's pretty cool. Nice design. And NCs and Fire Guy built that. We had a problem with the moats freezing over, so we installed torches to keep them frozen or from freezing. And this is just really basic. It's just been under construction. A lot of world added here. Very symmetrical. So now we'll speed you over and show you NNC's second farm. There we go. So Anansi's actually grows enough food and trades enough food with villagers to get emeralds to buy all his diamond tools from villagers. So he hasn't actually had to mine diamonds, which I thought was remarkable. I hadn't thought of farming my way to diamonds, but he's done it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So that mine shaft on the right was the start of an adventure. Map is the wrong word, but basically it was going to be sort of a mystery adventure thing, but it doesn't work when people are in creative. So Nancy's is getting into forestry evidently, and he's built himself some buildings for spawning iron golems, which is how he gets his iron. So he's got some waiting here for us. So we'll go ahead and we'll release these guys into the grinder. I built him a grinder, and then he'll get a bunch of iron for that. So you can see the lava blade waiting for these guys. These guys are eagerly waiting for the lava blade. We'll just open the door for them so they can get to where they want to be. Okay. Finally. There we go. They're really quite excited. You can hear them shouting with excitement. I'll just go down there and see them dancing with excitement. There they are. They're all just jiggling away in the lava. They're so excited. Leaving gifts of iron and flowers. So the golem farm upstairs is a more recent design. So I'm going to explore doing a similar farm. Because I think the dynamics for how they spawn have changed since that old design that I tried, so that's good. Okay. Did I get the iron? Oh, I see the mushrooms are on the other side of the wall here. Okay, there's a mushroom farm. I'm gonna have to analyze that because apparently NNC's mushroom farm is working, so maybe he knows how to make them work. There we go. So Nancy's has done lots of work with villagers. We'll just give him back his iron here and his flowers. There we go. Oh, maybe not this one. It's going to make a lot of red dye, that guy. Okay. So he's done a lot of trade, a lot of spawning. Just show you some of what he's got going on here. Just close the door after us. Here we go. And reset that so the golems can accumulate again. And put that back. There we go. So some good storage going on here. And then as you come in, you see the happy villagers all waiting in their boxes to be traded with or to make more villagers. So yeah, lots of farming of all kinds going on here. And ender storage. It's not something I've done yet, but Nancy's has done it. So we'll fly over towards the TNT zone now. Just speed it up. Fly by. So the TNT zone gets refreshed. Anyone who builds something on the TNT zone eventually has it wiped out. You can see the bedrock in the sign is fine, but the glowstone takes a beating. And this section we're going into now, it's all older builds from the previous versions and previous maps that were imported. So you might notice some hard edges on the edge of this area. This is a treehouse, so I just love this. This is one of my first creative builds. And it just goes up and up and up. I love the scale of this. I think this might have been around the time the height limit got raised. It's really good. So, yeah, this whole area froze. It was all water at one point in time, but I guess where we pasted it, the biome was different. This is the hot dog restaurant. Fire Guy operates this. Here, let me show you the menu. Good selection of stuff here. So that was done in creative. Treehouse was legitimate. TNT Zone, of course, World Edit. And NC stuff is all legitimate. This is underwater house, and it's a combination of legitimate and creative work. But it's a pretty cool effect to be able to stand under the water and live and have your living room. So I'll show you a bigger version of this in a little bit that you'll like. It's kind of fun. Once we pop out of here, I'll take you to Freshman's water house. It didn't used to be a water house, but I lost the vote, and so it does have water on the outside of it. This is the back door, the back entrance. Yeah, it's hard to sort out the water with that much flow. So the door will close behind me. We use pressure pads by all our doors as soon as we learn about that trick. And it's actually a pretty nice room. Green carpet in here. And this is the front door. That's interesting. Why would there be bedrock? Okay. And yeah, secret tunnels abound in the server. Everyone has secret tunnels. If you don't have secret tunnels, you're just better at hiding the secret. There we go. We'll go upstairs. You can see the kitchen and dining room. We wanted to make it as elegant as we could, given that we were working with cobblestone. So the roof line and the windows all sort of follow each other in pattern. Sort of a bright, airy space, considering. And up top there's a deck for having barbecues as the water flows down. Good. So this is the first cabin that we built for Freshman. And of course, more tunnels connecting everything under the surface. It actually gets pretty complicated with so many tunnels. You have subways, and you have tunnels, and you have tramways, and you have waterways, all intersecting under the ground. So let me show you the cactus cabin. This is cute. This was before zombies beat doors down. We built this. I liked it because it was really sort of open air, and you'd be fine in there over the night. Nothing would get you. So I'll take you a little further This is the first, actually this is sort of a restaurant that X-Flame set up. Same price for anything, but he's all out. And this was our first spawn area with all the rules for people to figure out what's acceptable and what's not. I'm going to show you one of the more creative builds that's on the server. I think you'll enjoy it. So this is the Cobblestone Millennium Falcon. So lots of Star Wars fans on the server. So there you go. You can see the turret and guns on top. You can see the cockpit down there. And the large spider, which isn't from the Star Wars movie. Here's the entrance. Of course, you want to close the hatch before you go into the vacuum of space, so that's taken care of. And those sections that push forward on the ship, as well as the cockpit, the controls, which is fun. It's really a great build. X-Flame did a great job. I think X-Flame did it with Fifi. And much like in the movie, remember they had engine problems? Yeah. So these engines also do nothing. So very true to the movie. Here we climb into the gun turret where you can see out, and you can fire the gun here, there. I'm sure I saw the fence move. And that table where Chewbacca and C-3PO were playing chess. It's good. So we built quite an extensive subway system on this map, the old map, and we had it loop between all the builds, and we had double track. The idea being one track was for one direction, one for the other. That never really worked, but it was a fun idea. So you can see we've got all the track there, and yeah, it's great. Cart dispensers. So when we move to the new server, we won't be bringing the mine carts. Yes, the mine carts. We won't be bringing the subway with us. Here, let's go in Fifi's house. Fifi had electric lighting before they had electric lighting. So here's his redstone lighting. You can see it gets darker in here. And back to brighter, which is pretty good thinking on his part. So libraries and beds, storage. I like how you can look through all the rooms in his house at once. It's kind of fun. And eating area. What more could a man want? So these walkways up in the air, they were all done legitimately. No creative mode, no world edit. They were done block by block in terror for falling. This is Tooth Mountain. This is just a floating mountain that happened to be here. Carved these rooms out of it so we could enjoy a floating fortress and playing with minecarts up here. That's Tooth Mountain. We'll just fly up the top. So these walkways were to basically get to Tooth Mountain from the mountain house where we started. And like I say, block by block. So let's fly around this one. And didn't know about half slabs at this point, so this is how I kept the mobs out. Actually sealed myself in. But, so I really like this. I like that from the outside it mostly looks like the mountain with just a thin ribbon of window in it. Inside you have a well-lit room. It's quite functional. We've got a garden going up here. And so that was pretty fun. The idea of not messing with the environment, but being able to actually build a large structure inside the mountain. So that was very fun. Upstairs, there's the music room. Not sure how musical it is. And again, one of those thin ribbons of glass cutting through the mountain. Thank goodness physics isn't really applied in this game. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to carry 10 tons of rock on your back, and you certainly wouldn't be able to support a whole mountain with ribbon of glass. So we'll just exit out of here. Yeah, Zombies Fly mod is definitely endorsed and welcome on the server, so flying's great. And we'll just go in the front door because it'll be a little faster than taking the stairs. So off to the left, this is where some of the tunnels come and join in. There you go. And then down this hallway, this is sort of a lookout. It was more for battling the mobs as they tried to get you. And place to sleep and reset the clock initially. So if we go down to the lookout here, this was the first place I ever battled a skeleton. Realized I needed to get up high to get away from them, and then they shot me anyways. So lots of storage. Saw this design, not as compact as what I'm using now. Notice all the boxes are backwards. Now that was an importing problem. Never got fixed. So in my initial mind, I was really concerned about going below sea level in case something bad happened. Eventually, I started to realize it was no problem at all, and as you've seen, like in the slime farm, had more rapid ways of descending. So that was my fast way down, and then this was the slow, painstakingly dug way down where I needed to track where I was in case something bad happened. So there's sea level, level 65 in this case. And I'm not even sure that level's applicable anymore. I'll just throw some saplings there. Yeah, that's good. And we'll go out here. Oh yeah. Enjoyed Half-Life 2, so a little nod to Half-Life 2 with the root canal here. So this is the North Root Canal, and it was a means of, on an older map, traveling to a village we found that was very far away. So basically, you go down this slope on water and speed up and speed up and speed up and travel really fast till you got to bedrock, and then climb up again and do it again. That was replaced. Oops, let's maybe not get on that one. Oh, I remember. I have to stand in front of it. I know there's a more elegant way, I'm just not sure what that is. Okay, and I'm backwards. Okay. So you can get a good amount of speed. Notice how steeply we went down there? Yeah, that's to avoid some of the tunnels and whatnot that crisscross this area. So yeah, you're just traveling so fast. So this was before I learned you could travel on the same level using stairs and whatnot. Okay. Linear tree farms. So no mobs on those. Or if there are, they're very bored stuck between the trees. I wanted to show you this underwater hull. This was not frozen when I built it. It was all water, so it was extremely challenging to build this without having the water pushing me around. So I used the give command to get these wool blocks and these lapis lazuli blocks and the glowstone blocks, but placed each of them individually. So it feels legitimate. So this is a real challenge, filling with sand, displacing water, having things pushed out of the way. But over the course of several evenings, I was able to carve this out underwater. And yes, that was a layer of water above, which made it blue rather than gray. But we're in a different biome, so it's frozen, which is disappointing. So underneath here, you can see the next minecart station on the left here. And so you can see lots of minecarts for everybody. And the minecart tracks loop around here from station to station. This was fun. This was a maze that we built The idea being you can't mine through the walls or use X-ray mod or anything. Just try and find your way through it, and it's pretty fun. Well, pretty fun for me. Pretty frustrating for people who don't know the way out. I'll just come out of there because watching me get lost is probably less fun than I think it might be. Okay, we'll go back upstairs under that gorgeous glass ceiling. And we'll punch out of here. There you go. So there's the lab on the right. Believe it or not, oh sorry, another subway station down there. That lab, believe it or not, was a tree that had lava poured on it that turned into cobblestone that got replaced with glass. So that's how that got built. And then this is the Pyro Palace. And I just think it's hilarious to have so much wood so close to so much lava. But it's kind of a fun place to be. So more roads stretching onto more builds. So let's head back towards the Space Needle and the castle. And actually, I'm gonna jump here and I'm gonna take you to the end. So we have a cart here that'll take us to the stronghold, and we'll just hit fast forward and we'll get you to that again. Place the cart on there, and we'll fast forward to the end now that we've thrown the switch. So that's 20 times speed. There we go. Good. Just learned that wooden buttons hold things open longer, so I'm going to start using wooden buttons. And we'll just jump down here. Found this legitimately with Ender's Eyes, Ender Pearls, and never bothered with exploring the rest of it, just went straight for the portal. Okay, so this is neat, and I want to show you what we did out here. So 128 block, oops, creative mode. Okay, I'll fix that later. 128 blocks out here. I built a half slab pad, everything's half slabs. This is too high, so Enderman can't spawn in it. These guys are really weak. One hit and they're down. So all of them are like that. They're landing on half slabs. Everything's made of half slabs, so they won't spawn. Up there, however, they can spawn. So they're close enough that they will spawn. And it's gonna put a pumpkin on my head. I learned this. Maybe you guys all knew this, but Nancy's taught me this. So you can look right at them and they don't freak out now, which I think is an improvement. But I find it a little bit difficult to look through the mask. So it's kind of hilarious. Nancy's has been hard at work here. Yeah, easy XP. Okay, so let's fly up and we'll have a look at the spawner, which is hard to see in the mask. So we'll get the mask off. Okay. There we are. So you can see the pads and the redstone activates a piston above our head. And as we walk along, it's opening above our heads. So if I was 3 blocks tall, it would have pushed me off by now. And that's how it works. So the Endermen don't stand a chance. They spawn and get pushed off. They fall down here. They have 1 hit point left. And as soon as you hit them with a feather or a loaf of bread or anything, they're toast. So that's that. That's my XP farm. It works pretty well. And just added minecart tracks because we were experimenting with sending things back through the portals. It was a miserable failure. It did not work at all. There, so we're back and we'll just leave you with a shot of the front of the castle, and that is the tour of Freshwind Minecraft server. So cheers, enjoy.